Hello everyone, welcome to this lecture on Solver Manager, that is CFX Solver Manager. This particular lecture is part of the basic CFX course by Learn CAX. In this lecture we will see different entities related to the Solver Manager, how to operate the Solver Manager, what are the different tools, and how to solve your CFD case using the Solver Manager. So what is CFX Solver Manager? Solver Manager is the graphical user interface of ANSYS software which is used to carry out simulation data calculations. It is used to define a run. It is also used to control the ANSYS CFX solver interactively on the fly. This means when the CFD data calculations are going on, we can change the settings and change our run when the solution is running, and solution or CFD calculations get updated simultaneously on the fly. Using CFX Solver, we can view the information about the emerging solution. Residual plots, monitor plots, solution convergence, all these can be checked while the run is in progress. We can export other solution data using CFX Solver. So the main purpose of CFX Solver is to calculate the CFD solution and export it for analyzing results to CFD Post. Let us see how to start the CFX Solver graphic user interface. There are three ways to start CFX Solver. First is from CFX Pre. So if you start from CFX Pre, that is this particular method, you have to go to Simulations and click on Start Solver. It will say Define Run, after which the solver will start automatically for this particular CFX Pre file. Then from the CFX Launcher also you can directly start CFX Solver. And from command line also you can input CFX5 solve command. So this is how it opens up. CFX solver, P will write a .daf file, and CFX solver will be launched. You can also launch CFX solver from the CFX launcher. And from command line also you can input CFX5 solve command, or whichever version you are currently using, to start CFX Solver. Different options are used in different situations. If you have defined a CFD problem in CFX Pre and you want to immediately start its calculations, then continue to start CFX Solver from CFX Pre. If you want to restart and make a new start of a already written .daf pre file from CFX Pre, then start CFX calculations or CFX Solve independently from CFX Launcher or command line. The first step when we open CFX Solve is to define run. As shown in this first panel which opens up in CFX Solve, it is the define run panel. Here we have various options. First tab is of run definition, which we will discuss here. In the run definition tab we input all parameters needed to start the run. First input is the solver input file, which is usually the .daf file we write from CFX Pre. So the solver input file is the .daf file which we enter here. We can also use result file. We can also use results file for extracting the solver inputs. This specifies the boundary and material inputs as well as mesh. Second input is the initial values. In this we can specify an existing solution if we want to impose a solution from a result file produced using one mesh into the definition file containing another mesh. This is used as a starting point for calculations. Next input is where to get the mesh from. Usually it is the solver input file. After that we can specify the type of run, whether we want to use single or double precision, which run mode we want to use, serial or parallel. Using the parallel capability of ANSYS Fluent Solver, we can divide a large CFD problem so that it can be run on more than one processor or one machine at once. Let us see in detail what serial and parallel solving means. Let us take an example of the shown flow volume in which we want to solve CFD equations. The volume consists of mesh which is used to do CFD calculation. That is, this particular volume contains a mesh. This is a representative of the machines that we want to solve on, that is the computer. So in serial solver, one entire CFD volume is solved on a single machine or processor. So this is what we do in a single solver. In case of local parallel, the mesh is divided into two or more parts, and one part is solved on one processor of the same machine and another part is solved on other processor of the same machine. So we divide this particular volume. One part is solved on one machine or processor, other part is solved on the second processor. Hence the name is local parallel. In case of distributed parallel, the mesh is divided into multiple parts and each section is given to one machine in the network. So we have multiple machines connected to one another solving some part of the volume mesh. This is done for large mesh count CFD problems. So in case of distributed parallel, we divide this volume into many parts and then we give one part to one machine, another part to another machine, and rest of the parts to another machine. And this is how the distributed parallel works, where all these machines are connected together in network. How do we set up a parallel run? For that, we select the parallel run as an option instead of the serial. So do not select the serial, select any of the parallel options that are here in the run mode. We have an option of MPI local parallel or MPI distributed parallel or MPI CH2 local parallel and MPI CH2 distributed parallel. Select any option that is appropriate to your case. Then select the host name that is here. The inputs required are host name, number of processors. We can add host name and number of processors by using the add and modify buttons. After that, there are detailed settings in the partitioner tab. In the partitioner tab, we have the partition type and weighing option. If the mesh partitioning is used, it requires too much memory, so try the less expensive partition type. Mostly default settings are okay. To permit more accurate numerical mathematical operations, we can enable the double precision solver, which is here in the solver section. The best feature about CFX Solve is the interactive control. This means solver parameters can be changed on the fly. Let us see how this can be done. For this, when calculations are in progress anytime, you can go to Tools tab and click on Edit Current Results File. So we go to Tools tab and we press Edit Current Results File. Then the current file settings are open. In this, we have the list of parameters. All parameters which make up the current problem definition are listed here. Whatever values are seen as green can be changed or updated. So whatever you see in green, all these can be changed or updated. You can go on and check each variable section and see if values are in green and update them. Values like boundary conditions, solver parameters can be changed on the fly. Let us now see how to create monitors for checking the progress of simulation. You have to continuously check the progress of simulation when it is going on to see whether things are converging well or whether they are diverging, whether values are being achieved, whatever the boundary values are that we are expecting. So for that, what we do is we click to create new monitor graph. That is, we click here to create new monitor graph. Then this monitor graph panel opens up. Here we can click whatever we want to plot along with the calculation. So you can click on normal force as a monitor. There are other functions as well. Let us discuss what they do. Dragging the cursor over any icon, the feature description will also appear, so you will automatically know what are the icons for. First, this is the icon which is there for starting a simulation. Then the next icon is for monitoring run progress. Next icon is for monitoring finished run. After this, the icon of the eye shape shows post-process results, which opens CFD Post. You can stop the current run by using this stop icon. You can stop the current run in order to save as well by using the save icon. And we can switch between RMS residuals and maximum residuals by switching these two buttons. The summary of this particular session, we have seen the solver manager is used to interact with the solution before, during and after the run. In the next session, we will see details of CFD Post. Now let us see what are the different options of visualizing results when you solve a problem, a CFD problem in CFX. For this, ANSYS provides another module or software graphic user interface called CFD Post. What is ANSYS CFD Post? It is a software for extracting results. It is highly flexible to use and can be used as a single post-processing environment for analyzing results from any of the ANSYS CFD solvers and especially CFX. It is designed for easy visualization and provides many options for result analysis. There are basically two features for extracting results. First is qualitative post-processing, which includes plotting contours, vectors, result, surface creations. Second is quantitative results, which are actual values of parameters and variables like forces, coefficients, and flux values. Both types of results are required for extracting design relevant data from CFD Post or CFD results. How do we start CFD Post? First option is to start the CFD Post graphic user interface from CFX Solver. For this, we click the icon of eye or result in CFX Solver. Next option is to start it from CFX Launcher, which is again icon in CFX Launch. After this, we can also start it from command line by typing CFX 5 Post or whichever version you are using, its number. Again, if you want to immediately analyze results from the current running simulation, you can use the CFX Solver option. If you want to analyze already written results file, you can use the CFX Launcher or the command line option. Let us see how the workspace of CFD Post looks like. This is the graphic user interface of the CFD Post software. As you can see, it is very similar to CFX Pre. First we have the main menu, which is this section. Then we have the main toolbar, which is a section below that. After that we have this entire outline tree, which is similar to CFX Pre, having all the post-processing entities are listed here. After that we have the details panel, which is here for each object that you open. Then there are different viewing planes. There is the viewer toolbar is here, and the entire viewer window is situated here. So this is how the graphic user interface looks like. Now we will see what is the general workflow when you use CFD Post. The general workflow that is followed is first you start with CFX Pre, then go to CFX Solver, and then we go to CFX Post or CFD Post. So let us take an example of this particular case. So the first step in CFD Post is for obtaining results, we need to prepare locations where we want to plot the results. This location can be a point or surface or region of volume. Then we create a variable or expression which we want to visualize. So after that we create expressions which we want to visualize, or we can use the standard variables like velocities, pressure or temperature. After that we start to generate qualitative data at different locations like contours, path lines, vectors. Once this is done, we can also extract quantitative data like we can extract values of drag, coefficient, average values of outlet. Then the last thing that we do is generate report from our results, which is writing a sort of a CFD report from the results results images that we have obtained. So this is the overall workflow in CFX Post, starting from locations, then variables, then qualitative data, quantitative data, and then reports. So now one by one we will see each section in detail. Let us now see the first section, which is cases. Here we can import one or more results file, that is the .res file. So this is where the current results file is opened. This can be loaded for doing parametric analysis simultaneously. So there will be number of results files that are opened simultaneously over here. After that there is domain, where we see different domains with their boundaries. So these are the different domains that we are seeing here. Then we have the mesh regions, which is over here. Independent of domain or boundaries, the mesh regions can be viewed separately. After that we have the user locations or plots, which is over here. This is for creating isoplanes, points, lines on which we can visualize results. These are extremely important. Below that we have report, which is over here. This controls the features and details that need to be displayed in the report. Below that we have the display properties section and all the defaults that are stored. This is for changing different display properties of images we see when we display results. Generally we don't need to edit this much. Let us see how many and what type of user-defined locations we can create in CFD Post. These are available in the locations section. So for creating any location, we click on this location section. We have points, point clouds, line, plane, volume, iso surface, iso clip, vortex core region, surface of revolution, polyline, user surface, and surface groups. If we click on any entity, any one entity out of this, as you can see, we have clicked on plane. So that particular details section of the plane pops up. We have geometry first, then the color, then the rendering and viewing options. First, this plane is defined by method xy plane, and the plane is z equal to 0 constant plane. This, when we press on apply, goes and sits in the location section, which is again here. So this is the process of creating planes. We will see one by one what are the different options. Point is a single point entity. Point cloud is collection of points. Line is a single line, straight line. Plane is a plane, 2D surface plane. Volume is a 3D volume region. Isosurface is a surface of constant variable. Isoclip is a region of constant clipped variables, that is a range of variables, whatever the region is there in that range of variables. Vortex core region is used to actually visualize the entire vortex. Surface of revolution is a surface of revolution around a axis, rotated surface. Polyline is a line having different line formed out of different collection of points. User surface is user defined surface, and surface groups is collection of surfaces. Along with the user defined locations, we also have boundaries and mesh regions on which we can see results. These are available in the mesh region section. So if we have a mesh region section, the mesh regions are located here in this particular section. Whatever faces and surfaces or planes and volumes that are there in the CFX prefile appear here. So we can just select any of the volumes or surfaces and generate result on them. The entire geometry is here available for us, and entire mesh entities.